Shane, how you look right now? It's like just like lounge back with like the most cheesy like hotel picture. I'm like, when I think of success,
what painting is that?
when I think of success, that's what I think of right there. A guy with a cool haircut and a vest in a crappy hotel.
A kind of dark nun riding a camel. Hello, one and all, and welcome to the 18th, the mighty 1-8 episode of the Joey Podcast with me, Paul the Punter. My name is Paul. I am English. I sound like this. This is a mountain bike podcast where we don't talk about anything to do with mountain bikes, but we kind of do a little bit, but just not over the top. This intro has gone south very quickly.
Yeah, so what I'll do,
I'll introduce who I do this podcast with every week without fail. This is the Crashing Dad, as he's known publicly on YouTube. To us, he's known as Sheyn, and this is what he sounds like.
Publicly, I am Sheyn as well. Hey, guys.
I feel like you need a last name on that.
Sheyn loves butts.
Okay, great. And joining him, or Sheyn, is our Swedish friend, Josh, who is known as Daily MTB Rider on YouTube.
Hello, I am Swedish. No, that's not Swedish. Anyway, I'm just...
That's like Mexican, isn't it?
I was going to say, that's pretty good.
Pretty sure that's Venezuelan. Anyway, I'm just happy we're 18 as a podcast. We're like adults now. We can like buy cigarettes and stuff. I'm stoked.
Yeah. Then we should definitely take up smoking as a podcast. Can you imagine next week?
Wait, you guys haven't yet?
We're all there just smoking on the podcast, but we don't mention it once. And everyone's like, are those guys smoking? So we don't really know what we're going to talk about, but actually in this time we do. And we have a couple of points, a couple of bits that we're going to debate, tackling the mental blocks of mountain biking. And also we're going to talk about suspension tuning. Do we even know anything? Find out the answer to that question later on.
The answer is no, and that's the podcast. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and goodbye. But of course, we'll start this episode with Shane's fabulous intro to the first segment, which is last week's comments. However, Shane...
I don't have my guitar because I'm staying in a hotel tonight. Surprise. I know, right?
It's like acoustic squared.
Yeah, let's hear.
There's not even any instruments.
I have a bike pump.
Comments.
I actually have a guitar upstairs.
Upstairs. Okay, everybody wait.
A piece of cardboard. Does that work?
No, because Rolf Harris has gone to jail. We can't do that. Wait, you guys have... Rolf Harris was never in your life, was he?
No. Is that your dad? What?
Who's Rolf Harris?
No. He was a child's entertainer that turned out he was a pedophile.
Oh.
And he was very famous for wobbling a board, and like that was a musical instrument.
Cool. So last week comment
moving on. Shane,
Paul, you really took us up to another level.
This is your favorite segment. So
last week's subject was selling bikes, and I don't think we got very many comments about that. Most people were just like, yeah, like, you're selling bikes, cool. But we did have some questions, and one of the questions from Isaac Haupt. He has a question for you, Paul, because you did a lot of videos on your downhill bike. He said, Paul, I have been wanting to ask you how much the downhill bike improves your riding, especially at Whistler, somewhere that you are used to on a shorter travel bike. What is the perceived difference?
You read that so peacefully, Shane.
But also somehow patronizing at the same time. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, let's assume that's sincere. Isaac, I would say I've just been riding more bike park stuff lately, and I've been doing more descending, which is probably why I've been getting a little bit better over the last couple of months. And that's really it, because most of the year I was training for a cross-country race, and I was just riding lots of long miles.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's anything to do with it.
You've been reaching for the DH bike.
Yeah, because it's new and it's fun, and it's not better. It's just new, and I've not had a downhill bike for ages, so it's been sick.
Come on, your downhill bike compared to like your Gambler is way plusher. Right?
My downhill bike compared to my downhill bike is way plusher.
Oh, whatever. I don't know what Scott bikes names are called. Anyway, compared to your Ransom.
Oh, balls. Well, I mean, let's look at it this way. It's 33 centimeters more suspension than my Ransom. Ransom is 170. This is 200.
So you're saying it's not that much of a difference?
Well, it's a difference, but I'd say that the reason that I've been improving is because I've just been doing more descending in bike parks. Like that's it. If I rode the Ransom the exact same amount of time, I would have also got better. It's like I think it's 6 of one, half dozen of another. But it obviously has been fun.
To be patronizing. I think he's really wondering, like, does a DH bike improve your experience at a downhill park?
No, I don't think it does. I think just doing more of it will improve your experience, you know?
But versus like a trail bike.
No.
Because I want to come to Whistler and I'm going to rent
no.
a DH bike. Should I rent a DH bike or should I rent a trail bike?
Well, I mean, it'll probably be fun to ride that, but then you don't have a long travel trail bike, like 170 mil bike. That's what I'm saying. Like, I've been just riding more descending. Like, I'm trying to make it a point that it's not about the bike, really. It's about the fact that I've just been doing more descending time. So I'm going to get better at that.
See,
like when I did more cross country, I improved at cross country miles because I was doing longer miles and longer days. So I was getting fitter.
And I think this is actually a really good question, especially because me and Sheyn don't have downhill bikes. And I've only tried a downhill bike for like half a run at Whistler. And I instantly was like, oh, this feels so much more plush. Like I could ride longer with less fatigue. I think the perception is, oh, it's going to make riding and especially a downhill park way more fun, sustainable, long term. Like it's that much better. But I feel like what you're saying is like, no, at the end of the day, it's just you riding more.
Yeah, that's really it. Because he's said, how much does it improve your riding? And I think I've improved more because I've spent more time descending over because I've suddenly got a downhill bike. Because you still have to get used to it. Like Shay, we've talked about the whole new bike day thing. You got to get used to it, and like that's just it at the end of the day. Familiarity.
I think for me, so I rode a lot of the downhill races that I was doing on my Smuggler, which is a shorter travel, mid-travel, whatever, trail bike. And then I got my new bike, which is a long travel enduro 29er, and then I started riding out there. So it's not quite the step from trail bike to downhill bike, but it was a little bit more. I don't think it made me better at descending, but it made me more comfortable at it. And like Josh said, I could go longer. My stamina was up. Stamina? How do you say that?
Stamina. You got it right.
I don't know. I felt more comfortable on it. So maybe that's what he's asking. Like, does it? Yes, maybe it doesn't improve your riding, but it makes you more confident, so you ride better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Comfortable.
All right. Good point. On to our next comment. Joe, is it just Joe or is this like Joe? Okay,
wow.
Joe. He says,
He's got just Joe.
How popular is fat biking where you guys live? I thought it was a great question because every time I see a fat bike, it's like seeing a unicorn. You're like, whoa, that's so sick. What's up? Never seen
Apart from the fact that unicorns are cool.
Oh,
heck yes.
Oh. I think fat bikes are cool, but I probably only see 3 or 4 a year. Like that's it.
Yeah. There's one guy I've seen on a fat bike. I'm just like, yeah. I mean, I owned a fat bike for a short period of time when I was living in 14.
What?
It was just a loaner from another bike brand.
Was it a cross country fat bike?
Another bike brand? You can't even say what it was.
Yeah, I can't even say. I almost brought myself to say it, but then I was like, no, actually, I can't bring myself to say it.
Another bike brand.
It was just a hardtail fat bike, and I got it because I was so over almost dying out on the slopes of the Porte du Soleil from people almost sideswiping me off the piste. So I said, hey, can I try a fat bike, and then I can just go and bike? And then they sent me one, and actually it was kind of fun. Like, but that was only because I had nothing else to do. Like that, yeah. No, we don't. I don't see because fat biking, you need the absolute perfect conditions if you actually want to ride it in snow. And this is the thing that's not really said. It's like it has to be firm packed snow, super crisp, can't be slushy at all, and yeah, it has to fit those 2 criteria. Otherwise, your bike just doesn't move. Like, actually,
can't be too. Can't be too slushy. Yeah, if you've ever ridden in the snow, you get the right conditions.
Yeah, which is even more worse than skiing. Like, like the worst thing about skiing is how condition dependent it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I live in the desert, so we don't see fat
You
bikes.
live the dream. Okay,
So they're not popular, Joe.
Malachi Reynolds back again. 3 mountain bike YouTubers doing a mountain bike podcast where they talk about mountain bikes and mountain biking like 100 times.
Oh, he put that in like 100 times.
It was too long. And the comment took forever to upload.
And
this is
yes.
I was just reading what the teleprompter said. Nice. So thank you, Malachi, for writing that, and MGB Go as ever with the SEO. So everyone knows that this is a mountain bike podcast. I'm kind of amazed, right? I've been looking at other things. So let's have a look at it, like Binging with Babish. Okay, one of the biggest cooking channels on YouTube. Very entertaining. He has nothing to do with cooking in the title, yet he'll pop up on everything. So
Binging, like binge eating?
Yeah. Binging with Babish. He has a fantastic voice. But yeah, and like he'll appear loads on cooking, but for some reason, when we search mountain biking, we don't get picked up.
Because we're not big enough. And nobody can find us except for kangaroo enthusiasts.
Kangaroos.
Yeah. So if everyone can just go down, give a 5-star rating on Apple, save the podcast on Spotify, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and tell a friend. It'll be the best thing you've done for them that day. I assure you.
And if you get the Joey podcast tattooed somewhere on your body, I will shave my head.
Really? Is that it?
I do it.
Shave your head for how long?
The Joey podcast tattooed on their body. I think I might.
Does it have to say podcast?
And when you say shave, like, are we talking big razor?
If I do a big razor, it's never coming back, boys.
Wow. Okay, let's move on from Josh's insecurities and go to another mental block, which is the mental block when it comes to mountain biking. Now, it's no secret, gents, that I have an issue of being afraid of things when we go mountain biking. I know, huge news, Josh.
Wow.
But this kind of want to bring it up because Josh seems to not have this thing and think it's absolutely absurd that anyone would actually have it. So, and I think Sheyn, do you agree? You're somewhere in the middle of this.
Oh, definitely.
You sometimes don't, but sometimes you do.
Sheyn's more me than Paul. Don't lie.
I don't know. I think he's somewhere in the middle.
For me, okay, so I used to put like a little picture of my kids and wife on my top tube, and that's kind of where most of my
no, you wouldn't.
That's kind of where most of my caution comes from because I'm always
that on your road bike that you would put them on there?
It was on my like first hardtail that I had.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I painted it. But
you painted your family? Sorry.
I can't believe you would paint right over your family, Sheyn.
Just right over them. You know, it would be so much better to.
This is so off-putting. I better paint them.
Looking cool is more important than my family.
But no, that's where most of my caution comes from. I'm like, okay, I've got a job, insurance, kids, and wife. I've got to be within my limits. So mentally, that's kind of what sometimes I'll tell myself, oh, okay, it's not worth it today.
Yeah, and that's I am completely with you. So Josh, you have far more commitments than I do. So where does it never kind of come through your brain that like something might go wrong or like what's going on in there?
No, I mean, I have a blockade like everybody does. It's called you're going to die, right? And anything before that's just like fun and entertaining. Anything past that is just a hard pass, right? It's like,
so hold on. Are you literally thinking long term for every bit of mountain biking?
What do you mean?
Like that you're going to end up in a grave somewhere anyway. So why should this jump affect that?
No, I'm thinking like I'm saying the cutoff is like, I'm going to like for instance, somebody said, Josh, go do crabapple hits. And on the third jump, try to 360. I would say, no, I don't know how to 360. I would die. And so I wouldn't do it. If somebody said, hey, go jump off crabapple hits, I'd say, yeah, I could do that. Okay. And then I just go do it. Like, it's just like if I know I can do it, then I'll do it. But if I know I can't do it, like, or I die, then I don't. Like,
what about something that you know you could do if it didn't have deathly consequences, like the White Line in Sedona?
See, like something like that, I would go there, do it first try, no problem.
Wow.
Because
See, for me, I know I could do it, but I have no desire to put anything at risk because there's so many factors that come into play.
Yeah,
there's
precisely.
nothing
And
at
I have you know, I'm probably up there, perhaps in the entire world of riding down rocks. Yeah, when I was there and I looked at it,
Whoa.
it's true.
You just said I am up there in the entire world.
Yeah.
I will never, nor have I ever said anything about that stuff about myself and anything mountain bike related. And the fact that Paul the punter just said that, I'm like, Paul, you got to check yourself, man.
No, I'm not saying, like, here's the thing. I'm not saying I'm good. I'm saying I probably have more experience of, look at where I live, Squamish. It's all rock slabs. This is all we do. Okay. So I think it's reasonable to say,
dirty. Need to take a shower after hearing
but
that.
I didn't say I am the best at riding rock slabs. I'd say I have probably the most experience compared to the whole world. I'd say I'm in the upper bit. I think that's reasonable to say. But yet, like on the toilet bowl, Sheyn, like I knew exactly what was going to happen. I was going to go down. I was going to use all my front brake, and I was going to be under very controlled circumstances, go down that rock slab, then turn right. Job's a good one. And yet, I still was like, oh, but what if I slip? What if this happens? What if this happens? And like that's a huge mental block that I'm sure like 97% of the people listening to this podcast will be able to kind of relate to.
Yeah, I just don't have
and
that.
See, this is it. Yeah, this is it. Like what I'm trying to do with this discussion is to kind of like open it up and like maybe kind of look under the hood and find something there. Maybe I'm not saying you're completely brainless here.
I am, but I'll do things and then I'll like fall and I'll be like, oh, well that I fell. I shouldn't have. Whatever. I'll try it again. And then I'll go do it again. And so like right before I started my channel, I was at the pump track trying to double something I hadn't doubled before. And I rotated forward, separated my shoulder, broke my wrist. And so got healthy. First thing I did when I was healthy, I went back and did it again because it's like, I shouldn't have hurt myself doing that. Like, that's like, people are like, aren't you afraid of like going back to where you were? And I'm like, no, I'm fine. So I should just go do that. Like, I have no thought of like, that's dangerous. I shouldn't do that.
Well, I think if it's something stupid, then yeah, you should go back and do it. Clean it up so it doesn't just haunt you mentally forever, right?
That's the only, like, I don't hurt myself doing like super high like skill things. It's always stupid stuff. Like I wiped out on a fire road a couple of days ago. Like it was like so like.
Is it
lame.
you? Is it me?
Oh, it's me.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm curious if other people listening, like I feel like I've seen other people ride that like have that thought process that I do. Like it's like, oh no, I can do that. So they just go for it. And there's not like oh, what about this? Or, oh, this could happen. Like they just do it. They exist.
What is the process like? Because there must have been like, I'm sure I could probably look back and be when I was 15 and just starting to ride a bike. Like I went to some jumps at a friend's like farm back garden thing. And I did this jump and I did it again. And then one time I did it, my front wheel slipped and I fell and I broke my arm. And it was like, it was the worst. And it was so painful. And I had to go in an ambulance because the break was so bad. And it was just like, it was horrific. And the whole experience was horrible. And then obviously the whole aftermath of it was like lame. And then I came and then I fixed myself and then I bought myself a mountain bike and then promptly fractured my leg.
Oh,
like not even that far afterwards. And I was in a full leg cast, like on crutches. And I'm sure that most of this is going back to that situation.
But you're still mountain biking.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm doing way harder things, but still like the point that Josh is talking about where he's just like, let's make it simple. Let's say there's like a drop. Okay. And it's nerve wracking and you can see how it's going to work and how things should go. But as you come up to it, you slam on the brakes and you go, oh no, I don't want to do this.
I've never done that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're amazing at this, Josh.
No, that's what I'm
recognizing.
No, I'm not pointing that out to be a tool and to say I've never done that. No, I'm saying like I have never had that experience. I've never said I'm going to go and do this thing and then panicked and stopped right before it. Like if I say in my brain, if you hear me say I'm going to do this, 10 out of 10 times, 100 out of 100, I will do it.
See, I have done that where I said I'm going to do this, and then I panic, and the crash is way worse than if I would have just committed to do it. So I'll probably say I've done it once where I've done that, and I learned my lesson. So if I say I'm going to do it, I'll give myself, I get 2 run-ups, and then the third time's a go. And then if I can't get it on the third time, I mean, I'm not as cool as you, Josh. If I can't get it on the third time, I'll just call it for another day. So I come from skateboarding growing up, and in skateboarding, you can do things. You're going, but the tiniest little pebble can send you straight to the ground, out of your control. And sometimes I feel like that in mountain biking where, sometimes something dumb can happen. And if the result is death, like the white line, if your tire slips on a pebble and you go, like, that's maybe my limit. Yeah, not you though. We got to bring you to Sedona.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll go do the white line. Like, and here's the other thing too. Following people, like I've said it in my videos, I'll say it all the time, is like a cheat code. I can follow if it's something I know I can do. If I follow somebody, I feel like I'm not even actually doing it because it's cheating. Like any drop, any jump, the white line. If you just give me somebody who's comfortable and knows they can do it, if I follow them, then in my mind, it's like, yeah, this is not risky at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes that works. Like, say I'm riding a trail, like just a normal trail. I find, as you say, like, yeah, you're kind of cheating because you know what's going to happen. You're looking at the future, and then you just have to copy them, and then it's fine.
Yeah.
But for some reason, on jumps and drops, I can't. Well, I guess A line is a little bit easier because like the jumps aren't that gnarly. But if it's like a gnarly jump, for some reason, I just can't translate that process over.
What about the ski jump?
Yeah, Paul.
Yeah, that was the perfect example. Like, it was just like I didn't feel that I was behind Trevor, but I couldn't. I don't know. I didn't believe it. I think that's a lot of it. Because you probably have a lot of belief in yourself, right, Josh? You're like, oh yeah, I know I can do this. Yeah. But I think this is where maybe all the mental blocks that everyone suffers comes from, because they don't believe that they can do it, or they don't comprehend how it could possibly be done.
Yeah. But like, I'll be honest, like, I think my only mental block that I can think of is like crabapple hits. Like, I know I can do crabapple hits. Like, I know I'd be fine on it. But I don't want to do it because like, I know if I start, I have to finish it. And like, I'm not necessarily nervous that I'm crash. I just know it's a higher consequence. So like, I won't go over to it. I won't look at it because I know if I go over there, I have to do it. So I avoid it, but it's not, I don't know. Like, you hear what I'm saying? So I guess that's that factor.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Well, and how much does like visualization come into play?
With me?
I think, with some people, like, they don't have that belief that they can do it, or they, last second don't have it. But like, I almost feel like the more you visualize yourself doing it, and maybe having someone in front of you is kind of like that cheat code. You're like, you don't have to visualize because they're right there in front of you. But
yeah, that's it. Like, I think that's it. Like, it's like, yeah, I don't have to look at something. I just have to follow somebody into it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I think you nailed it. It's the visualization, seeing it happen.
And if there's someone that I'm following into it that I really trust, like I really trust RC Outdoor Gold, I'll follow him into anything. Mm-hmm. But if I'm following someone I don't know, I don't know. Even if they can do it, I still am a little bit apprehensive.
Yeah.
Do you know? I had to think back to times where I really pushed myself and why I did that, and I realized there's a common theme where it's that someone is the same ability as me, and they're also doing it for the first time. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's not like I'm riding with someone better and I'm just trying to copy them. It's that I'm with someone exactly the same and we're doing it at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
That feels so good.
Yeah, I think that is what That's who I'm looking for, really. Is like just like a group that everyone is like at the same level and we're all going up together.
I was about to say, I can be your hero, Polly, but I can't. I can't be your hero there.
No. I could be your fitness hero. Maybe that would work.
I'm the pinnacle of fitness, boys.
Fitness.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still have to compete against you in a cross country race, then we'll see who's fitter. Paul, you've seen me pedal at the EWS. I
haven't seen you pedal. We all, I don't know. Maybe you're just very good at carrying speed. I've seen Jordan pedal and he beat everyone. So it's like.
Oh, no, I'm saying pedaling the EWS. I pedaled all day. Like no problem.
Yeah.
Jordan
None of us really pedaled though. Like really. Like we put let's be honest, we pushed up to the first pedal stage. Most of us. We pedaled most of the way, then pushed the last bit. And then the next stage we pedaled up because it was like hardly anything. And what happened between stages 4 and 5?
I pedal. Ask everybody who raced. I pedaled more than everybody.
Okay, yeah, but we were just like, it was still like super low. Like there was nothing.
Anyway,
for the pedaling.
All I have to say is Paul Fitness Challenge. Let's go.
Fitness.
No, I'm done with that now. I've officially quit doing any kind of fitness competition. Like I should go and do CrossFit right now, but I'm just like, do you know what's more fun? Anything else? No.
Speaking of things that are more fun, I think it's time to go into the segment of our show that most defines who we are.
Well, okay. Yeah. So first, put in the comments. Let us know what you think about the mental blocks of mountain biking.
Yeah. Do you have them? Are they ridiculous? Are you a Paul? Are you a Josh?
Is Paul irrational? Is Paul irrational? Is Josh some kind of superhuman? Is he, in fact, part robot sent from the future to nail mountain bike trails? And is Sheyn just a bit of everything?
I would say
like a mocker.
The answer is pretty simple. Paul is irrational, Josh is a lunatic, and Sheyn is a normal human.
Yeah, I agree.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's probably the truest words ever said. Okay. What are you going to do, Sheyn, if you don't have your guitar for the intro? Okay.
I don't know.
Sheyn.
Is it you? Is it me?
It's the Joey of the week.
That's what I was waiting for.
Well,
for those listening on your podcast, Sheena's pointing to us, and Paul just looked at him with that blank stare, like, "What do you want me to do?"
I looked at him.
I'm the one that Paul is. Paul's the one that has a music degree.
I'm like, no, Sheyn, this is all you. That's what I was doing. I was like, no, Sheyn, this is yours.
All right,
stop messing up.
Joey of the week. This is the moment where we take time to say who, what, when, or Aaron Gwynn made a mistake that was so elementary, so beginner that you just have to laugh. Paul, any updates on our main man who you failed to get a voiceover for the intro of this?
No, I did. Like, check it out. I actually got in touch with him and he sent us something.
No, you did not.
Let me just play it for you right now. Oh, hey guys, Aaron Gwynn here. You're listening to the Mountain Bike Joey podcast. Wow.
Aaron Gwynn sounded way too excited to be talking.
What a perfect audio representation we just had there from Aaron Gwynn. Thank you so much.
All the Aaron Gwynn interviews I've ever seen, thanks, he was most excited to say what he just said for us. Aaron Gwynn is like the most
Gwynn. Oh my God,
he's like the most like, I raced down that trail. It was pretty hard, but I did well. Like he's like the most like reserved, like chill guy. And Paul's just like, hi everyone, it's me, Aaron Gwynn.
I seriously was expecting a soundbite.
I was too. You let me down, Paul.
Clickbait. Aaron Gwynn finally gets on the Joey podcast. It's just me going, oh my God, guys. Hey, how's it going? Aaron Gwynn here.
Paul, you sound like a nerdy American trying to be cool. Like that's who he is. Oh, are you saying Aaron Gwynn's not cool? You're a Joey, Paul.
Listen, he's not been doing anything. 6 days ago, he posted something.
He's a professional racer. That's like all they do.
He posted something about the Hero 8. I haven't seen a single YouTube video from that guy. How is he kind of thing? Anyway, and then and then something from September. I don't know. He's just doing nothing, isn't he?
It is Rampage season.
He's not. He never in a
That's
million
what- no.
years would Aaron Gwynn do Rampage.
No, that's what Shane's saying. Like, why would he post? Like, no one cares
Yeah.
about him right now.
Exactly.
No one cares about Aaron Gwynn. We care about Aaron Gwynn. God damn it!
All right. I will nominate. I don't know if I'll nominate myself as much as.
Wait, don't we do the readers?
Oh yeah,
first?
we should do the written ones first.
The
We're
listener
gonna do this. We're
nomination.
gonna do this faster because we want to have more discussions on the podcast. We're mixing it up.
All right, I'll start. We got Alex Shears. What do you shear, Alex? He says, Joy of the Week nomination. Me and my friends were riding at my local bike
What's
park.
that?
What does he shear? He shears.
What, Alex Shears? Oh, I don't know. Are you having a conversation with yourself? Hey, Josh, what do you think Alex Shears? Oh, I don't know, Josh. I don't know.
It's dad jokes. Anyway, he says, my nomination, me and my friends were riding at my local bike park. One of my friends popped a tube and we patched one hole and we got to the top of the hill again and the tire is flat. We forgot to check for another hole and waited 30 minutes trying to fix the tire. Shame. I know your name. Trying to patch holes in tubes. You've made too many problems. Shame.
Mike writes MTB. Is it Joey enough to ride the last day the park is open when you finally clear jumps you worked on all year, only to find your GoPro is set to linear and the footage is entirely of your front wheel? Then to ride all day the next day as well on cool trails with, still in linear mode. I'm going to buy a Hero 8 just for the profile settings alone. Mike, that's
Sponsored
heartbreaking.
If somebody
Not
doesn't
sponsored
know,
by
guys,
GoPro.
what's linear mode?
It's not the non-wide angle fisheye mode that everyone, if you think of what a GoPro looks like in videos, it's not that. It's like a normal camera.
It's
Super
basically
narrow.
super zoomed in. Yeah, and you can't really see anything.
Yep.
Wow. Mike.
All right, Andy Clark. He says, my Joey of the Week nomination is my buddy John Fannin. Ooh, call
Great
out.
name.
Burn.
John Fannin sounds like a private detective, but in a computer game specifically.
Private Detective John
Nominated.
Fannin.
Buddy John Fannin. He said, we were entered into the last round of our local Enduro series, but when he arrived, he discovered he had a flat battery on his axis dropper post, so it was stuck in the up position.
Oh, what?
Rich people
No way.
problem.
What makes this even more Joey
Rich people problem.
is he's also a keen roadie, and his bike has the E-Tap system, which has 3 batteries on it at home.
Oh, is it the same battery?
I don't know. It's all SRAM.
It would
Andy,
kind of make
what's it
sense.
like to know rich people problems because you're speaking a different language?
I don't know
today.
what these batteries are. I'm gonna give it to John Fannin.
I can't race because my $1,000 dropper post won't go down. What? Why not? Because I don't
I mean,
have a battery.
If he is also a roadie, then maybe he's kind of comfortable with his saddle up. But yeah, that's
I'm
pretty.
just saying-
If one of my friends had this happen to them, I would never let them live it down.
Oh,
and I'm
no.
sure both of you would be the same thing.
Well,
Be like-
next year he's not going to pair his Bluetooth brakes. I'm just calling it right now.
John is probably a dentist. I'm just I just don't understand like how RockShox can make such a nice dropper post that everyone swears by as long as the battery's charged and not have a plan B in case it dies. Like there's no option to drop it. Like you hear what I'm saying? Like I feel like there has to be like a
manual.
No, well,
SOS.
if there's no battery, if there's no power on the seat post, then it's not going to be able to do anything.
We should have like a manual thing, right, where the seat post is on, under
Yeah,
the
but then that adds to weight. That adds to blah blah blah. Like,
No, what it needs? It needs like a literally on the last time you drop it down, like, oh, you're not going to be able to get this thing down again. Oh, thank you, dropper. Like, thanks for reminding me.
Thanks, Dropper. Not a problem, Josh. Hey.
If I pay
It's got
$1,000 for a dropper
little
post, I
cartoon
expect it to be intelligent enough to say, "Hey, Josh, don't do this again." Oh, thanks, dropper. See you later.
It sounds like a new cartoon character for the podcast. Dropper. Just like a little dropper post with big eyes. Hey guys, what's going on?
It's like the paper clip that pops up on your screen.
Yeah.
I know you're writing a resume.
Hey guys, it's me, Access Dropper Post. Make sure you charge your batteries. You never know.
That sounds like Mr. Towel from South Park.
Oh, it's me,
Towley.
Mr. Towley.
No, it's not Mr. Towel. That's Mr. Mr. Oh god, I'm getting my
Christmas.
I'm getting hankies and towels mixed up.
Oh, get your act together. Anyway, thank you so much for
Okay.
submitting this, Andy. That is pretty Joey moment for sure.
Listener nominations. I think John Fannin gets it. What do
John
you guys
Fannin, yeah, never. He will never live that down. And Mike Wright's MTB, I hope you don't let him live that down.
think? Oh, actually, Andy Clark, tell us. Was it on a
isn't it?
Yeti?
Oh,
Probably on a Yeti.
Yeah, or Santa Cruz. It's one
Or
of those
like-
two.
Oh, he's a
Or
roadie.
an NS, for example. I'm pretty sure NS are the same price as Santa Cruz's.
He's a roadie. It could be like a specialized S Works because they like to, they like to do the S Works.
Yeah, we know
works.
we know
Don't
it
get it.
wasn't on a Scott bike because they're obsessed with cables. Anyway, moving on to our
Actually, the Genius 910 comes with Axis and the Fox Live valve system.
That's right. They were so desperate to use cables that Fox had to convince them it was a bad idea.
I think this is kind of cool. You should go and have a look at Mike Levy's Instagram because he's got Nino Schurter on there and how they've kind of put in the Axis dropper post. It's like a button on his grip. It's really cool.
Like a different button than the normal.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. It's just
dang.
in his grip, so you can do his dropper post on the grip, like in the actual handle. It's pretty neat.
That's cool.
Yeah, Shane's there right now. Right meow. Look at that. See, isn't that cool? This is for visual people. This is on the YouTube channel.
Oh, so there's when he grips with like basically one of the I don't even what is it?
So he can
Middle
accidentally touch
finger.
it.
Middle finger. I think you're looking for.
Well, I was gonna say it looks like it's like
It's palm?
use
no.
words brain where your calluses are. Like
This
it's
is
not
how
on your
you can
finger.
do all those jumps.
What is this called?
It's your
Oh, no.
palm.
If you're watching, no. This part right here has got to be called something because it looks like it's not his palm. It's like right where it's the base of his fingers. Oh my gosh! If you're watching this on YouTube,
Hand
please
anatomy.
comment.
It's like they
Don't worry,
bodged.
I'll Google it.
Thanks, Dad.
They
All right.
bodged it too. Okay.
Well, okay, I have to give my Joey of the Week nomination. So it is now officially fall, so the rain is coming. So I decided on my hardtail, I love to put 27.5 plus. Yes, I ride 27.5, only in the plus version because it's basically 29. Anyway, and the tires I have on there are not very grippy. They are. Oh, I don't want to botch this. They're Maxxis Recon Pluses, I think.
Those
Yeah.
are
Yeah,
not-
I reckon that's what it is. One for the dads. I'm
Well,
here a week.
Paul, you're a father. Anyway, so I put on my plus size tires, and so I'm having a great ride. I had a lot of fun, and then we come out on the fire road, and they're like on Galbraith on the south side exit. There's like little things you can jump off on the side, and I was like, you know what? I never like carve left into this berm. I'll just carve left. So I go to carve where normally I would have all the grip in the world. All of a sudden, my bike slips out. I'm probably going 25 miles per hour in kilometers. That's like 1,000. And I literally my tires slip out as I try to grip in, and I slam hard on jagged rocks. And of course, I forgot my gloves when I left my house that day and thought, I don't need to turn around. I'll be fine. So I have a huge road rash on my hip.
Let's see it. Let's
visuals.
see it. Get it out. Get it out.
No,
Get it out.
I don't want
Get it
I
out.
don't want to get the mature
Get it
rating on
out.
the podcast.
If we can get 5,000 likes.
And then
on this podcast.
I scraped up my arm. It actually wasn't as bad as it could be, but the
Oh my
bruising that I
God.
have from the fall was the worst part about it. So I felt like a Joey because I did not know the integrity of my tire and looked like a fool on a fire road. It was great.
And also, did you forget the plus tires are worse in wet conditions?
No, they're not.
Yep.
Oh, are you saying that plus tires grip not as well?
They're just not because they're so balloony. Like that's why cyclocross guys like you watch a cyclocross race
Use
with like
the thin
grass.
tires. Yeah.
Yeah, because it digs in, and it's like obviously the same principle. The wider they go, because they get all rolly.
Yeah, and I guess I realized as I put these back on, like the plus size tires are they're softer. So on a hardtail, it's a lot more comfortable ride. Like that's kind of the thing, and they're grippier, I guess, in dry conditions.
I'm
Mind
just
blown.
gonna say that the Reckons don't really grip anything. Moving on.
That's what Shane reckons.
They roll super well, and they don't actually grip anything. Great.
Yeah, there we go. I don't think I did anything this week. Well, I guess I guess in some ways. So I'm really burpy. I'm trying not to be. I'm not. No, I'm still on my alcohol-free beer tick. This is hot. I can't. Can you pronounce that? I'm not
Heineken?
familiar with this. Heineken. Right. Okay.
Wait, you really can't say Heineken?
Brew. Must be some kind of local brew here in Squamish. Don't know how big it is.
Brought to you by Hien or Kern.
Alcohol-free Heineken.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what that would actually translate as. Like, no, I don't know. Someone's last name. Yeah. Yeah. What did I do this week? Oh yeah. Okay. Here we go. So on Monday, me and Brig, my housemate, we wanted to go out. There's a new jump trail in Squamish. It was like, no, this was Saturday. Sorry. We went out and we wanted to go and check it out. No. That's although that is funny. Everyone has been posting about this trail, like everyone.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to check it out. And like there are some bits which are a bit tricky, like they're kind of steep corners. Do you know the sort?
Yep. I saw Remy Metallier's.
Everybody. Yeah. So he's like a lot of people were trying it. So on Monday, I went out for a lone ride by myself and I just rolled down the thing. I probably passed like 8 to 10 people struggling on this trail. Like, this is what always happens with a Squamish trail. It's like everyone just immediately goes out and tries to ride it. But it's amazing. It's such a good trail. The guy that built it's done a really good job. But anyway, back to the joeriness. Me and Brig went out. We were going to go do our favorite trail, Angry Midget, then go across to this new jump trail. And we were like, yeah, let's have a real ride. We're going to do it. And then we go out and then halfway up the first climb, I look behind Brig and I'm like, your tire's flat, buddy. And he spent ages faffing around, like fixing it and putting a tube in. But I didn't complain. I just sat there. I was like, yep, this is what happens. And then we roll down and then partway down Angry Midget, Miranda Miller, Remy Gauvin, so all the super fast people in town are filming. And I roll up, I'm like, oh, hey guys, how's it going? Just to hear this for my second puncture of the year, and it's October. But something must have like sliced the side of the tire, I guess, because it was like sealing but not sealing. But anyway, and then me and Brig just gave up and went home. Went and watched movies. So
Brought to you by Paul's tire sponsor.
Yeah. It was super annoying.
I don't know if that's 2 flats in one ride. That's pretty rare for 2 different people.
It wouldn't be rare for Brig. Is rare for me. Like straight up, I've had one other flat tire this year. Yeah, that was when I was doing the downhill bike. When I just got the downhill bike and I hit Square Rock.
I run Cushcore in all my tires, so I am terrified of getting a flat on the trail, and I haven't in a year. So I
know what's like
in a long time.
That's where you just ride it.
Somewhere over here is a Cushcore ready to go, but they didn't send me the valve.
Ooh, those are like $20.
Really? US?
Something like that. Yeah.
I think a pack of 2 is like $20. Yeah.
I was going to put in my downhill bike just to try it out, but I mean, it doesn't stop your tire getting ripped on a rock.
No.
So there we go.
No,
anyway, that was me. Sheyn.
Probably so I've been trying out clipless because this season
I just went back to clipless. I love it.
Keep going. New video coming in.
I'm back again.
Well, I'm trying it out because this last race season I was like, every time I crash and get back on, my feet are all pigeon, whatever. So I've been trying clipless. Hasn't been going so well for me. I did loosen up. They're the Shimano kind, so I loosened them loose at people's. People were giving me all sorts of tips everywhere, but I passed this group of people on my local trails. I was just on kind of just on my local ride by myself. Past this group of people, and then they like jump onto the train behind me. I'm like, oh, okay. There's this pressure. You try to throw a little bit of style here.
Which trail?
Oh, I think it was Kurt's Lane in Grand Junction. You wouldn't know of it. But so I jump on. I'm going. I pass them, and they jump onto me, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, there's riders behind me. When people are watching, you got to throw a little bit of steez in there. So I hit this little side jump that's on this trail, and I come to find out that whipping is, or maybe for me, whipping is different when you're clipped in than when you're on flats. I don't know. It felt way different because I just ended up, instead of whipping, I ended up sideways or going a little bit.
instead of whipping where you try and get your bike sideways, I ended up sideways.
So I ended up kind of sideways, and I literally just like landed on my hip and my pedal, and I was still clipped in. And I just like slid, and I got this this road rash here.
No.
Yes,
God.
yes. Oh, I'm so disappointed now.
Yeah, that's probably my Joey moment. I'm not getting it very well. I need a daily MTB video to tell me how to switch back.
How to switch back.
Hey guys, that's right. I switched back again, and here's 5 reasons why you should too.
Top 5. Oh man.
I want to make that right after we get off this live stream. Hey everybody, I'm back at it again.
Oh.
You have to do it.
Yeah, you
have to do it.
And then we'll have to create a playlist with the previous 2 videos in it.
Now I want to just as a joke, because everybody would be like, "Oh, great! Here he goes again." I'm gonna watch anyway because he's so stupid.
I've already thrown away my last 2 sets of pedals.
And the video has to start with you in the trash can, just like picking out all your pedals after you've thrown them away.
Just me popping out of the trash can, like, guys, they're still here.
Oh man.
Then someone's like, "You haven't emptied that trash can in 9 months."
Anybody who's listening who hasn't seen my videos, like the most clickbaity videos about pedals, just do yourself a favor, don't watch them. Anyway, Shane, I think you deserve Joey of the Week for trying to, because it's not that you fell, it's that you realized people were watching you, which we've all done. And so you think, I'm going to impress these guys, and then you fall on your face.
Fully admitting it. I fully own up to that. So yeah, I'll take the award.
That's great.
I'd like to thank my wife. I'd like to thank my kids.
Okay.
Right. Moving
Ladies
on.
and gents, the final topic of, we used to have 1 topic, now we've got 2. Let us know if you want more topics. I think we need to give the listeners more discussion topics. I think that's what we should be doing.
I think they should be dictated by them in their comments.
Yes, for sure. I wanted to start off this. So, as some of you that watch my YouTube channel may know, I spent some time with Ben Walker, who is a professional just bike person. He literally doesn't have one job. He does many things.
Does he work for himself?
No, he works for Scott, but kind of like he doesn't work like 5 days a week in the office, but he's like, he sets up like the races, bikes and everything. And I talk to him every once in a while, and he like is great because I can talk to him and he'll just give me actual advice rather than tell me to just get on my bike and ride with it. And he sent me a message today, and I really want to read this out. Because he's very.
Like this is going to be like Paul, like proving an excuse or something.
You have to read it the way
not.
that he would say it.
It's a point. It's a point of discussion.
Okay.
He says. He said, "Hey Paul, you should do a video."
Does he have an English accent?
No, I can't do an American one. Aaron Gwynn's already left.
Do it.
I can't. No, because this is like I wanted this to be a bit more serious for a change.
Hey Paul.
For a change.
Serious.
I wanted to be normal.
Okay, read it.
Okay. So Ben said, "Hey Paul, you should do a video with a suspension tuner changing your shims to help people understand that they probably aren't as sketchy as they think. It's just bad bike setup. Our egos and their desire to pretend to know all the things are our worst enemies when setting up a bike." So I think,
so shims first. Is that volume reducers?
Oh God, no, that's not volume reducers. Like I'm not even going to pretend to know what I'm talking about. I've seen this once ever, like in, oh God, which side? I'm going to say,
how much
in one of the
have you had? Sorry, keep going.
Too many. I think one of the sides, there are these kind of little, they're called shims, but think of them as like flaps that control how fast the oil moves past them. Okay. And you can change how these shims operate to control. So it must be in the damper side, in the
So
compression.
you're talking
damper
in
side.
the fork.
A tune.
Yeah. Huh?
Is it a tune, like tuning the fork with shims?
Yeah, you can tune the forks with shims. Yeah. So
Okay.
instead of having your outer dials, like your high and low speed compression or whatever, you have these shims inside your fork, and then pretty much every fork. Like I sound like an maybe I'm gonna say
Basically an oil valve.
I'm gonna yeah. I think I'm gonna
And
say
you can
right,
shim
I'm gonna
the
commit
valve.
to this. It's in every single fork. You can do this. But
Literally,
you can,
everything you've just said is what I think before I make a video, and I'm like, screw it. Nobody knows what they're talking about. Either. All right,
Yeah.
everybody,
Here we
here's
go.
what you need to do. Sorry, keep going.
switching back to clips, episode 5. No, and you can change these shims, and they control. It's basically what high and low speed compression do, or high and low speed rebound. It's just another way of changing your fork. So you can make it more linear. You can make it, less progressive. Like all of these shims, which I could, if you had the right tool. Like I'm pretty sure it's not that hard to do, but it's just about knowing how they work, right? And this is the thing Ben was always saying to me when I was working with him, is that like a lot of people, like, it is somewhat ego driven. The whole kind of, just get your bike and ride it and, don't care. Because maybe people don't really understand how it works. So people will then resort to this kind of attitude. Whereas actually, and like, this is what I found. So when Ben, again, when he was setting the bike up with me, he's like, it's better to have a firmer setup, something that's more stable and that has more damping on it. So more compression or more rebound to control what the bike is doing. And then you will elicit confidence from that. That was his like top line thing, right? So
Wait. Top line thing, more compression, more damping or dampening if you want to wet it
it's
down.
not dampening. No. Yeah.
If you want to wet it down.
Yeah.
In more rebound, or I guess less rebound?
Well, rebound is damping of sorts.
More rebound dampening.
Yeah. Rebound is damping is anything that you can affect the suspension with.
Okay, Paul. Click the link and share your screen so our viewers can see what a shim is.
Oh, where is it?
Either in the private chat or in the Slack.
In the Slack. Okay. Bear with me one. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So this is, well, we should link this article. Wow, 2013. This is a long time ago, isn't it?
And nobody has talked about
yes.
it since, which is what's so surprising to me.
Yeah,
that
who wants to open up their
he's
fork?
talking about this, and yet nobody else talks about this. I feel like.
Yeah, because it's a more complicated thing, right? And now we've got super. Oh, here we go. There we go. These are what these little shims look like.
Yeah.
And it kind of the oil flows through, and they're in every fork. And like this is how people can change how their suspension works.
Sounds like you can stack them.
Yeah, so Ben was telling me like you want them to be in like a V formation, which I guess is, if you look at those that are on the screen, you can get a V formation out of them there. But anyway, like the principle is that I think that so back to my point in the story. Sorry. So today I was like, I took that thinking and brought my Genius out, and I haven't ridden my Genius for ages. And I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it, because when I was in the bike park, I was making my suspension harder and harder. And like the downhill bike is already set up quite hard. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take those principles and put them on my trail bike. So I did that. And I realized I was doing irrational things. Okay. Like my rebound, I was like, I'm going to put it in the middle. Like, why? Like, why have I been doing this for years and years?
That's what Fox tells you to do.
But it's just like, just put it in the middle. Because I'm like, I'm a pretty average, weight, and I'm in the middle of everything. So, but actually Fox doesn't tell you to do that. So the middle on this is like 8 clicks out from slow, but they recommend you have 6 clicks out. So then, anyway, I just kept that there, made everything harder, and I went and I rode so much better than I would have normally done if I hadn't ridden a bike for a long time. Does that make sense? That was a very waffly. I'm sorry about that. But just by having it like more stable and me actually thinking about it, and this is why I spend ages trying to perfect it so I can be more comfortable, and then I don't think about it, which is arguably what happened on the down bike, because I haven't really faffed around with it apart from making it harder because I was getting faster.
So Paul, first you can take this picture off our live stream.
Please remove this from my vision, would you? Yes, quite right. Yeah,
Paul, you're using phrasing that I think is not logical when thinking about suspension. So you keep saying harder. So you mean less plush, like you have less compression, and you have
firmer. Would that be more?
So you can make suspension firmer by putting more psi, less compression, I guess. Like that's what I'm saying.
No, you put more compression on it to make it harder, and your spring rate. So if you just pump more air into your fork, you would then have to slow down the rebound as well.
Correct.
But that's something that I wouldn't do. I would just be so infatuated by having rebound in the middle because that's where it's meant to be. But then it's not at all. Like, and now I look at my bike and it's completely nothing like I would think. But I was able to go out and ride. I almost rode my favorite trail, not actually trying. I almost got the fastest Strava time I ever have on it. And I've actually raced to that trail as well. So it was just kind of one of these things, like, you know, by us not knowing about our suspension, are we actually, you know, and everyone talking about it, because it is so complicated, like, are we hindering our riding because we're not actively trying to learn it, because everyone's just like, oh, just ride whatever. Do you know what I mean? Do you know, I'm kind of all over the place here.
Yeah, I'll speak up first because I have a feeling Sheyn, once again, will help bring us back to center. I'm the exact opposite of Paul. I don't care at all about my suspension. I set it up in the first week that I put like a fork on a bike, like my hardtail, and I haven't touched it in 9 months. I haven't touched my suspension. I set up my full suspension bike and then I don't touch it for like.
So how did you set it up?
I put in the factory settings, and then I put on a shock whiz, and usually it tells me to adjust it by like a couple clicks, like 1 to 2 clicks of each setting, and then I keep it there.
It doesn't tell you to do anything else.
No.
Did it tell you to put some shims in?
Nope.
It has shims in it. There's shims already in there.
Yeah. Doesn't say a word about shims. I like a linear suspension, so it will never tell me to add volume reducers. Like, I just do like little minuscule things, and I'm like, yep, that's probably good. Like, basically, the manufacturer recommendation for my weight is almost always perfect. And because, and this is like the kicker, and this is what I talked about, I think last week, I just don't notice differences in suspension. Like, I just don't.
Well, for me, I'm kind of in between. And
I told you.
well, when I first started,
this podcast is so well cast,
balanced. When I first started writing, I liked the feeling of a very plush, fast rebound, I pretty much no low speed compression, and my rebound is all the way open, all the way fast. I liked that feel because I felt like I could pop on a pogo stick, popping off of everything, being playful, whatever. And I found that I still kind of like that to an extent, but after racing a bunch of races, I have gone way more low speed compression, some high speed compression. My rebound is slower. So for me, I'm not always worried on my ride about my suspension, but if I notice like, oh, okay, like I'm going a lot faster on this trail, or this is a race run, I'm going a lot faster, I know kind of in general where I prefer my suspension to be. So, yes, I don't know what I'm talking about with suspension. I have no idea. I'll admit that.
No, I completely agree with you though. Like, that is exactly what I've encountered.
But
so I wonder,
by my feeling though, like you kind of go by your feeling, and on the trail you adjust it, but then I don't worry so much about it. I kind of get to the point where Josh is just like, okay, I've adjusted it to where I know I think I'm going to be comfortable here. I'm going to go. And then if I need to adjust a little bit more, I will, but I'm not going to bust out my friend Ben on text message and send him all my settings and ask him how many shims I should install.
But like at the same time, okay, so here's another question. So you've just made the perfect point, and I completely agree, is that in getting better, you do things like make it harder and slow it down and everything. And you
more low speed compression.
Yeah, more damping, damping basically.
Yes, more damping in general. When I'm going faster.
Yeah. And I've jumped on a lot of the Mega Pros bikes. And every time it's very hard. It's very damped. And most of the time it kind of feels on the slower side. So it's kind of like, that seems to be a trend, but it's recognizing that trend and thinking, oh, maybe I should try something.
But they're going really fast and they're racing.
Oh yeah. But it's like, it's not,
I'm play around on the trail, do what you want,
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's exactly the same as me, but like there's a clear pattern of, everyone has it really hard. So here's the question. Josh, do you think you've gotten better at mountain biking?
At mountain biking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've become better as a rider.
So this year, do you think you've improved your mountain biking? And how have you measured that?
I ride with more style. I ride smoother. I don't know. I'm faster.
Are you?
Yeah.
How do you know that you ride with more style and steez?
Because you feel
all the compliments.
You feel when you're riding a trail like it's designed to be ridden. Like you feel coming out of a corner, oh, I just cornered that really well. Like it's a feeling thing.
I will say sometimes I feel like I'm a boss, and then like if I've taken third person footage of it, I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not a boss.
But I would say like feeling is relative.
I know what you're talking.
Yeah. Like it is relative. Like I won't deny that. But I don't know. Like, I'm more confident on trails. I do trails that used to scare me with like full confidence now, and like I do them way better than I used to. Like, why do you ask, Paul?
Because I was just wondering, like, what if you're very good at mountain biking, and like you got some suspension settings, and you're like, oh, I don't change it, I just do this because they're the right suspension settings. And then what if you just have also just stayed the same in your skill level? Because you're very good. Like that's the thing. It's harder to measure improvement when you're much better, unless you're racing, I guess.
Yeah. And I don't race because I'm a terrible racer. But I mean, at the end of it, like it doesn't, to me, like I'll say it, we've said it 100 times. We'll say it 100 times more. It's not your equipment. It's not how it's set up. It's the rider. Right?
I think someone said that at the beginning of this podcast about downhill bikes.
Yeah. But that's
I said, but I didn't. I have also that when I came into from the get go, this bike has been set up perfect. Like none of my other bikes have been set up perfect.
But like I would do a challenge where Paul like keep the same PSI and totally wreck all of the settings on my fork and rear shock, and I would ride fine. Like I wouldn't even think about it.
I mean, I could really wreck it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. You could like be radical.
I could,
like fastest
two clicks on the. Yeah, I mean, I would if I was really going for it. I wouldn't even be like, oh, I'll wind all this open or I'll wind all this shut. I would just make it a hodgepodge.
Yeah,
nothing too extreme, just weird.
I guarantee I wouldn't ride that much different. Like, I don't think so.
Okay.
So maybe it's in our minds.
I don't
some
think
of
it.
I don't think it is. I think, and this is someone that really knows why I brought it up. This is someone that really knows what they're talking about, has nothing to gain from kind of educating everyone.
Here's what I would say. Two quick things. One, for 95% of riders, they don't know. And they'll tell you they know, but they don't. Once you get to such a high level, then you start to actually like know. And like for like being, I'm a musician. I was a musician. I'm not anymore. So tone, I was a bass player. Like I could hear and like understand bass tone. But I used to think I did, but I actually didn't. But the more I played and experimented and figured it out, then I actually like learned it could like articulate clearly. It's kind of like understanding art. I feel like that's how suspension is. And I'm the 95%. Like I could lie. I could say I know what's up, but I don't. And so like to me, I'm like, yeah, it doesn't make a difference. And my second thing I'll say, every time you jump on a new bike, it feels like, whoa, this bike is way more this, or it's way more that. It's actually not that much different. It's just different enough for you. And then what happens is we naturally respond to the differences without thinking about it. So if your one bike is set up with super slow rebound, and then you jump on the exact same bike with all the same settings but fast rebound, you will naturally, without thinking about it, adjust for how the bike is acting based on your riding experience. So in my mind, it all comes down to how we react, and eventually you get used to things, less than fidgeting for all the perfect stuff. And again, I think that's only for the 95%, not the people who actually know.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's hot. I don't think it's useless. I just think for most people, it doesn't make that big of a difference.
And I think I'm with you there too. I could adjust, but I know that Paul would not adjust, and he would complain the whole time.
Well, he just does that anyway. That's why we love Paul.
Yeah, no, I think striving for something to be right or correct, I don't think that's the wrong way of doing things. Like, I think that, finding the balance and just learning and being like, oh, okay, like this isn't feeling it. I think long term, I'll probably benefit more from being like this. It's just been a very long term.
Yeah. And I would say
like,
long term.
There's been multiple times where, I've gone like, oh, it's really doing this, or, oh, I'm having this problem. And then I've found the solution. And I think that's a key metric here, is that I've never come away and been exactly in the same place I was. When I've actually learned what the problem is, or what I can change to reach the goal, then I see something measured in improvement, whether it's being more comfortable, like no style, obviously, or whatever. But yeah, I think, and this kind of this learning that I've just had, especially on the trail bike, with just kind of, I don't want to get into it because it's kind of boring and it's not relative to anyone, not relative to everyone. But I think this is the point I'm trying to make. It's like, okay, suspension tuning. Yeah, a lot of us probably don't know, but what if we just took the time to learn, and we'd actually benefit from it in the future? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I would not disagree with that. I would just say my response is like, in watching your video with Ben, that's his name, right, Ben? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everything you said, like, oh, I feel like it's diving too quick, or I feel like I'm slower in corners. Like, I was literally like, I've never thought that in my writing. Like, I just have chalked it up to being my own thing. So would I learn if I like actually listened and tuned in? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, like, I personally would like take the stance, I'm not going to become exponentially worse as a rider if I don't tune into it. Do I think it holds me back a little bit? Sure. But I don't think enough for me to like have to invest that much time and energy and understanding to get to know it.
Yeah, because you're pretty good at mountain biking as is. So like you're satisfied with where you are right now, whereas I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, I want to improve. And yeah, I've talked about it last week about, there's mental challenges with all of this stuff. And I think that it's like accepting that does exist, but also it's like, okay, what are the things I can improve on? And I really feel that this is one of the things, is learning this better will kind of instill confidence.
Yeah.
And I think, Sheyn, like, you just saying you thought you used to like it really soft and no rebound damping, so it was really quick and just really active. And then you improve, and then you kind of go, whoa, wait a minute. Like,
well, I think along with improving, I did watch a lot of videos on what the suspension settings do, which I kind of think if you get a fork with 17 different settings, it's probably smart to like, okay, what do these do in general? Mm-hmm. So as I'm riding, I can use that knowledge to apply it to my adjusting. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'll also say, like, I don't like just like shoot in the dark. Like, I use a shock whiz. I trust the shock whiz. It sets it up well enough that I don't have problems.
Which default, what's the word I'm looking for? Preferences do you use?
I always like linear. Like, I don't like progressive. I don't like
that's not an option on the shock whiz.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, you can have like poppy.
Yeah.
You can have planted, I think. And then you can have extremely active or something, and then you can have firm. You can have firm, soft, middle. No, do you have like soft, firm, or very firm, or something like that?
For some reason, I thought linear was an option, but like my goal is just like middle of the road. Like I don't want super playful. I don't want super. I just want it like
I would. Do you know what would be really interesting if you went out and tried? So what did you have like? Because Poppy is the one that's in the middle, and I imagine out of soft, firm, or very firm, you would have chosen firm.
probably soft.
You would have chosen soft.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It'd be really interesting if you went out and did firm and planted. Like, I'd be interested to know how you felt on that versus how you are now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to share what my settings are. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not like, I mean, your settings, I don't know how they work for you. But it's just interesting, like, if you went out, because you've just gone, oh, I think I should have middle of the road. But why should you have middle of the road?
Because it's never been a problem. And that's where like my response to everything you said is like, if I had a suspension wizard who helped me tune my suspension and make it exactly what I needed for my riding, I do not believe it would make me a 10% better of a rider.
Yeah. But you have the option. You have something where it's like you've gone, oh, I think I want it like this.
Yeah.
But what if actually, because you're so good at mountain biking, you know, you should have chosen this one. Do you know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying.
I'm just so curious. Like,
yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong or anything. I'm just curious. If you went out and you tried a different setting, if you prefer it. Because like I did the same thing with my shock. Do you have a shock with Sheyn?
No, I haven't touched one yet. I need to.
I should send you my one. You can just use
score.
It. I'll bring it with me when I eventually make it down.
Okay.
It's like I always chose like the firm and poppy one, and then it would match it to that setting. But why did I choose firm and poppy? Do you know what I mean? Like maybe I should have chosen firm and planted, and actually that would have been better.
I'm not firm or poppy, so I would never pick that.
Well, okay, so
that's what I'm just saying. It's like yeah.
Obviously, we have just set forget, doesn't care because it's mainly the rider, not the bike. And then we have me, I like to be a little bit educated, and it all comes down to my opinion on any given trail on any given day. And then we have Paul over here that's saying no settings. There is a right setting, and you should be riding that right setting. And I don't know. I think you guys should let us know what you think in the comments. Is there a right setting? Is it based on your preference, or is it just mainly the rider? Don't blame bike in the suspension settings.
Or is it screw it, let's do it? That's me.
Crack another beer and just give her, bud.
Give her, bud.
Jeez, Aaron Gwynn is back again.
Aaron. Yeah.
Aaron.
Okay, well, I guess that's it then.
Nailed it.
That's the best one, yeah.
Nailed